is going on, YouTube world? My name is Jemiah McKinney, or you can just call me Juice. That's my nickname. Appreciate all you guys for watching today. Be sure to smash this like button right now, as it does help this channel grow and the videos get out to the public. Subscribe to this channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day on the channel if I can, and turn on post notifications too, so you don't miss a single video that I post. It's only right, you guys. Listen, Cincinnati fans, it's time to move on. It's time this year, if Andy Dalton does not absolutely ball under Zac Taylor, I reserve the right to change my mind, but I'm projecting, I'm thinking that I'm not going to have the need to change my mind, okay? Andy Dalton needs to be moved on from. Andy Dalton sucks. Andy Dalton's not a very good quarterback. He's just not. He's just a guy. He's not very good, okay? The ship has sailed. You need to move on from Andy Dalton and restart the franchise and draft another quarterback this year if Andy Dalton cannot at least look serviceable this year and win some games, okay? He needs to ball out this year and win at the very least 7 games this year for me to say that you need to keep Andy Dalton in your franchise, okay? Now, again, you're probably not going to trade him or anything like that, but again, you need to draft a quarterback and groom that new quarterback right behind Andy Dalton and draft the heir apparent to Andy Dalton because the Andy Dalton era in Cincinnati needs to end. I don't understand why the Cincinnati Bengals did not draft Dwayne Haskins this past year. Dwayne Haskins was right on the board for the Bengals. I thought he was the perfect answer potentially for Cincinnati's problems down the road. He definitely was way better than Andy Dalton was coming out of college. I think he was the best. I think he's the best quarterback in the draft. If not, he's definitely second to Kyler Murray in my opinion. He's going to be a very good pro in the future. And again, with Andy Dalton, he is what he is. He is what he is. He's not going to get any better, okay? You can tell me that Zac Taylor is going to resurrect Andy Dalton's career. I have to see it to believe it. I really do. I have to see that to believe it. Andy Dalton is 31 years old, guys. He's peaked. He's not going to get any better. This team is not going anywhere with Andy Dalton, okay? Andy Dalton does not elevate the teammates around him. He's just as good as the parts around him, okay? He does not add anything extra. He can't elevate his teammates around him. He's just an okay guy. He's an okay quarterback. We've seen the best of Andy Dalton, okay? The best of Andy Dalton has been, let's see here, in 2015. Yep, in 2015, Andy Dalton, 66% completion percentage, 25 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, okay? That's not a bad year. But that's really not a Pro Bowl type season, guys. It's just really not. It's an okay average year, okay? That's an average year for a quarterback. Andy Dalton, that was arguably his best season. He had a passer rating over 100 that year too. And then in 2013, we also saw kind of another version of the best Andy Dalton. Where he threw 33 touchdowns, but he also threw 20 interceptions. The point I'm trying to make here is that, look, Andy Dalton, he has a low ceiling. He's not going to get any better. You've already seen the best of him. Andy Dalton is not going to elevate you to playoff status and Super Bowl status, especially now with Big Ben Roethlisberger, with Lamar Jackson, with Baker Mayfield in this division, okay? Andy Dalton and the Bengals are way behind the 8 ball as far as quarterbacks go in this division. Lamar Jackson, a dynamic player. Baker Mayfield, he's going to be a stud for many years to come. I think Baker Mayfield potentially in these next 1 to 2 years will be a top 10 quarterback in football. The guy is special. I like him a lot. He did set the record for touchdown passes for his rookie season, okay? And let's not forget, in the playoffs, guys, let's not forget. Let's rewind back to a couple years ago, about 4, 5, 6 years ago, when the Bengals had one of the 5 best teams in football as far as a roster standpoint goes. The Bengals were loaded. They had an elite offensive line. They had many weapons. They still have A.J. Green today. They had very good wide receivers. They had a good running game. They had a great offensive line. That defense was stout. That defensive line with Carlos Dunlap, Geno Atkins, all them boys. Geno Atkins is still there, but you get the point. They had a very good defense. Their defense was elite. They had a Super Bowl caliber defense. They had a very good offense. Offensive line elite. Wide receivers pretty good. Running backs pretty good. And Andy Dalton, he got the team to the playoffs 4 times, but didn't win any games. You can put up numbers in the regular season, but a true evaluation for a quarterback these days, especially if he's on a pretty good team, is how well does he perform in the playoffs, okay? And Andy Dalton qualifies as a big fat F for that, okay? He qualifies as a big fat F for, going to the playoffs and performing, okay? He gets an F in 4 career playoff games. Andy Dalton, 55% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions, and a 58 passer rating. I'm sorry, Cincinnati fans. If you want to tell me in the comment section Andy Dalton's the answer to your future, tell me. Someone convince me in the comment section that Andy Dalton is the future. I want to know. And honestly, guys, I really think this whole Bengals team is going to fall apart. I really do. I don't like this Bengals team at all. I personally only think they're going to win about 3 or 4 games this year. This team was the 3rd worst scoring defense last year. It was the worst total defense. The offensive line sucked last year. The skill position players were okay. You had AJ Green. You had some nice players. Boyd came along pretty well. John Ross is still a bust. I don't know what's going on with John Ross. He's very good at Madden. I love playing with John Ross in Madden, okay? But John Ross in real life, he's terrible. He's been a bust. Okay, I don't know why you have not gotten the best out of John Ross so far. And AJ Green's now hurt this year. Tyler Eifert's always hurt. Joe Mixon is a solid, good running back, but your running backs are only as good as your offensive line. I think that Joe Mixon is going to be limited playing behind this bad offensive line. And Andy Dalton is limited too. So while Cincinnati does need to pretty much just start their whole team over, in my opinion, they have some solid parts. I'll give you that. But as a whole, for the football team, you really need to start looking into restarting this whole team. Resetting this whole roster. But the best thing you can do to maximize the opportunity is to move on from your quarterback, Andy Dalton. You've seen it in the playoffs. 55% completion percentage. 1 touchdown pass in 4 career games. 6 interceptions in 4 career playoff games. A 58 passer rating in 4 career playoff games. Not very good. Winless in the playoffs. With a top 5 roster in the National Football League at the time when he had it. The Bengals, like I said, they were a stacked roster when Andy Dalton got them to the playoffs, okay? Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers had that Bengals defense, had AJ Green for his whole career, had those Bengals wide receivers, that great offensive line, that great running game? Imagine if Cam Newton had those players. Imagine if Phillip Rivers had those players. Heck, put Russell Wilson on that team, put Nick Foles on that team. He's going to win games, okay? Pretty much, Andy Dalton is underachieved with the Bengals. I don't think people realize the Bengals were a top 5 roster in the entire NFL when Andy Dalton was leading them to the playoffs, okay? They were a good team. Now, obviously, they have fallen off a cliff, okay? They've not been the best team so far, but they were a Super Bowl caliber roster at the time. Man, I could just only imagine if some other quarterbacks had that roster, what they would have done in place of Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton totally choked with that roster and team. You've seen, with a top 5 roster in football, Andy Dalton is not the answer. Now, to move on to kind of just talking about some things, I really do think the Bengals need to draft a quarterback. They need to do everything they can to get their hands on Justin Herbert. I think that this year, if you win a ton of games this year, Cincinnati, I think you're doomed. Because then you're going to be forced to keep Andy Dalton around for a long time. So if you can tank this year, please do tank, because you need a top 4 pick. You need to get a Justin Herbert. You need to get a Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I just made a video a couple of days ago talking about how Tua Tagovailoa is overrated as an NFL prospect, and I don't think Tua Tagovailoa will be a bust. That video was not intended to say Tua Tagovailoa will be a bust, okay? That's not what the video was saying, okay? What the video was saying is that people are overrating him, saying he's the next great Pro Bowl, first ballot Hall of Fame, transcendent type quarterback. No, Tua Tagovailoa is not that player. He definitely can work in the NFL. He is better by a mile than Andy Dalton was coming out of college. Okay, the guy has a ton of arm strength. And Justin Herbert, to me, Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in this upcoming draft. You need to get your hands on him, okay? Because he's 6'6", got a cannon for an arm. He's athletic. He's big. He's durable. He makes all the right reads. He will check down to his running backs and keep the chains moving. He doesn't look for always the big shot down the field. He reads defenses very well. And while Tua Tagovailoa is very talented, Tua Tagovailoa in his biggest games was terrible. Versus Georgia, versus LSU, versus all these other teams, okay? Whenever Tua Tagovailoa first a NFL defense in college, okay, he struggled, okay? So I do worry about Tua from that regard, but I do think Tua's ability to throw the football is second to none. He's a very talented player. I do think that Zac Taylor, the new head coach of Cincinnati, can get the best out of Tua Tagovailoa. So again, for me, I would take Justin Herbert. I really would. I think Justin Herbert is the clear-cut number 1 choice this year in the draft. You obviously have Nate Stanley, potentially from Iowa, who might be a decent player. But again, I think that Tua Tagovailoa and Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert have separated themselves from the other quarterbacks in the class. There's some decent, solid quarterbacks. Potentially if Jake Fromm comes out, like I said, Nate Stanley, pretty solid player. I like Baylor's quarterback. Potentially if he comes out this year, I really do. I like Baylor's quarterback. He's very good to me, but again, very inconsistent. So again, I think Cincinnati, you need to move on from Andy Dalton. It's time. I was so happy you guys moved on from Marvin Lewis this year. I really was. I was so happy you guys moved on from Marvin Lewis. That guy was in the locker room way too long. He was not winning playoff games for about 15, 16 straight years. I'm so happy Cincinnati finally made a choice to change their head coach, because Marvin Lewis he's a capable head coach, but he was not getting it done. The guy has 0 playoff wins in about 14 or 15 seasons with the team. So that tells me that Cincinnati is taking the steps in the right direction. So again, just move on from Andy Dalton. The guy sucks. Move on from Andy Dalton if you can. Be sure to comment where you agree with me, where you disagree with me. Do you think Andy Dalton is the answer in Cincinnati, or do they need to move on and draft another quarterback this year? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. A fun fact about me is I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world. I want to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. Kind of like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You get the point. Okay, I want to do sports, television, and radio for a full living once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. So the best thing you guys can do to just help me continue to grow as a young broadcaster is to just share this channel with all your friends, because potentially if this channel really gets somewhere, I want to start my own network, okay? Or potentially if it doesn't, or if I fall a little bit short, I want to go into a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So the best thing you guys can do to just flat out just help me grow as a broadcaster, help me learn, get other people hip to this channel, just share this channel with all your friends, share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And once again, guys, just share this channel with everyone you know. Get everyone hipped and watching these videos. Get my voice out there and heard. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been your boy, Jemima McKinney, or you can just call me Juice. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in today. I really do. Have a God blessed day. Stay motivated, you guys, and I'm out.